Good evening, everybody. It's KB5 MIQ Big Boy. Get my chair set up here. We're going to chat about a few subjects tonight. I've been reading up on people asking questions about on social media, so we're going to talk about a few things. Number one, this keeps coming up. Hey, Ham Radio Cat. Nets. Do nets have right to tell you to get off a frequency? When you take your test and you study the rules of amateur radio, you realize that if you are occupying the frequency first, you have the right to the frequency. Nets do not have frequencies assigned to them. Having said that, now think about this. In promoting good radio practice and friendship through ham radio, especially on an HF net, because most of those nets are big. If you're on a frequency and somebody comes, hey, we got a net here in a few minutes on this frequency, would you mind moving? Move. I mean, because if you said you don't have to move, you say, no, I've got the frequency, I'm staying here. That's perfectly within your right to do that. But any conversations you was having for the next 30 minutes are going to be interrupted by people trying to check into a net they think is there on that frequency. They may not realize it's moved. So you're going to have issues to deal with. You know, our roundtable, we don't do formal net. We don't have a formal net control or anything like that because none of us are real big net checker inners anyway. We do it very informal. We meet on 28,450. If the band is open and there's not a net there, that's where we'll be. But we have had several instances on certain nights of the week where there'll be a 10-meter net on that frequency. We'll come in. We move. The band is open. It's not a problem to move. We don't interfere with their net. For the simple reason, if you stay there, and people are going to keep trying to check in, and they're going to keep running over you. So the best thing to do if you're on an HF frequency and the net comes up, and I know some of the net controllers may be a little on the rude side, just tune up 5 kilohertz or so and continue on. If you're in a QSY or a pile up on you, just say, everybody, I'm moving up 5. And go up there and continue on with your stuff. I may get crucified for saying that, but, you know, that's just, to me, good radio practice. We don't mind moving a bit. We've been invited to check into their nets. We just move, and a lot of times we'll pick up more contacts by moving. So that's just how I do things. That's just my suggestion. You know, a lot of these nets have been going on for years, especially down in the low bands. I've been invited to check into some of them, and if I try to check in if I'm invited, but I don't spend a lot of time in nets. Some of them are so big, if you're not a regular check-in, you may wait an hour, hour and a half to get checked in there, and I go to bed at night. So that's my viewpoint on nets. Just if they come up, you're on a frequency, my recommendation is just move up to avoid the QRM. Okay. As people ask more questions about the best feed line, it gets back to asking a question about grounding or a bail phone. We're going to talk about bail phones in a minute. This is strictly my recommendation that I use on Feedline. I don't run an amp. If I was going to run an amp, I would run a better grade line, but I don't run an amp. I try not to have any length of coax over 100 feet. I use RG8X mini foam. I've used it ever since I've been in the hobby. I've got a couple of pieces of 213 that I use on some antennas that are really far from the house, but it was some that I got out of a collection at one time. I know that I didn't buy it, but all the coax I've ever bought has been RG8X Minifold. I think if you use good amphenol connectors with it, and you don't have as few connections in it as possible, I think it's better, will be just fine. Personally, I really don't like my pass through bringing my antennas into the house the way I do. I would rather bring the cable in and tag the individual cables, and just hook them to the radio and take another connection out of the loop. But the way these windows are in this house, that just works better for me to do it like that. But I don't think if you're going to run an amp, or you're going to have an excess of 100-foot run, you might want to invest in some LMR 400 or 213 or whatever, some better grades of coax. Not telling you not to. This channel has always been centered for new hams and hams on a budget, and I'm on a budget, always have been. So I don't think there's anything wrong with using RG8X myself. Okay, I had another question about the dreaded UV5R bail phone. And I'm probably going to get hammered for this, but I've got a UV5R, and I've got the 8-watt version, can't remember what the model number on this one, BF F8HP, which is, to me, just a UV5R with a bigger battery on it. Now, are those radios made in China? Yeah, they are. Have they had some issues, a lot of people think, with them? Yeah, some people claim they have issues with them. Actually, HKV and DLX and myself were talking, and if I can manage to make field day this summer, well, my track record on field days hadn't been good last year, but if I can make field day this summer, one of the things we're going to try to do is get us some equipment out there. We're going to try to see how much splatter and out of frequency these UV5Rs actually transmit, see if we can see anything in it. Being a handheld, 5-watt, 8-watt handheld, I think they work great. I've seen videos where guys have got on repeaters and told people they were on the latest ICOM, Yaesu, or Kenwood, and they were talking on a UV5R. Oh, that radio sounds great. Then they get on the ICOM, Kenwood, or Yaesu and tell them they're talking on a UV5R, and oh, that radio sounds like crap. So who knows? I will say this. I don't know what kind of nuclear waste China puts in them batteries, but they're the best batteries in a talkie I have ever had as far as lasting. Jeff has noticed that. Cody's noticed it. And I've noticed it. Both of these, batteries last forever. Now, sound like I'm promoting bail fun. I'm really not. If I had to tell somebody today to buy a talkie, a dual band talkie, under $100, I'd tell them to get that Yaesu FT4X right there. MTC's got them for $88 a piece. And if I'd have known about this radio at $88, even though I won this one through MTC's giveaway, I wouldn't have the bail funds. That's the radio I would have bought. Now, being a cheap boomer and a cheap ham radio operator, when I first got it, I wanted a programming cable with it, because I figured because I have all kinds of problem programming these radios, although all the Yaesu stuff I've had has been easier for me to program. Well, the programming cable was $40-something. And being a boomer and cheap, I didn't want to pay $40 for a cable. So I got the book out, and that is absolutely the easiest radio to program. I can actually program it from memory now. So if you're looking for a first-time ham, first new ham, need a talkie, I know $25 UV5R for a 5-watt talkie is hard to beat. But spend $88, get the Yaesu, you'll be very pleased with it, and easy to program, and you'll look a lot cooler at the Ham Fest walking around with the Yaesu instead of a bail phone. Hey, Cat. Well, that's about all I can think of for this week. Just some throwing them stuff out there. I had a little problem with my 10-meter antenna. I had to pull it down as soon as I felt like it after getting over COVID. And had a loose connection on it. I got it fixed. I've been having a little trouble. I think that's what's been my problem all along. It just got loose. It stayed messed up. It's an MFJ2 element Moxon. Man, I get good signal reports with that antenna. But I hate to use the word cheaply built, but it is a little on the cheap side. I'm going to have to pull it down. I'm going to change some hardware out with some better grade of hardware in it and fix that where hopefully that feed point don't come loose again. I still recommend that antenna. If somebody's wanting a dedicated 10-meter antenna, I got mine worth the money when I bought it, $89. I think they're $159 now. It's still worth $159 for a really good 10-meter antenna that's easy to turn and easy to use. Well, that's all I can think of for today. We've hit 553 subscribers. I appreciate everybody who likes listening to me. I got some real good comments. Got a good comment on my presentation, and I'll keep this down to earth, and I'm going to always try to do that. Any suggestion I make is just a suggestion. I'm not telling you should do things the way I tell you to do it. If you got a question, please ask me or comment. I'll try to answer any way I can. If I don't know the answer, I'm not going to lie to you. I'll tell you I don't know, but I will try to find out. And I've got access to some other hams that are very knowledgeable, and we'll try to get you an answer on anything you want. So remember, Main Trading Company, Paris, Texas. Good place. They're revamping their website. He's redoing the store. Hopefully he'll do the sidewalk sales this spring. I hope he does. And I'm still looking for some stuff I need. But it's a real good outfit to deal with. Irving Amateur Radio Club. I'm still putting their ham swap meet days in March. I'll be a screenshot on the end of this video of it. Farmersville has their monthly sidewalk sale. They're out of Dallas. I'll put their screenshot of their info on it. Appreciate everybody who subscribed to the channel. Remember all your ham related Facebook pages, Ham Radio Flea Market Trading Post, Ham Radio, Amateur Radio Elmer's, Texas Amateur Ham Radio, good avenues for information. Your club pages, 4 States Amateur Radio Club, Dallas Amateur, Cowtown Amateur Radio Club, Shreveport Amateur Radio Club. KB5 MIQ is my call. Emails posted on my QRZ page. We're still holding 10-meter roundtable Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, 28,450 or up. We'll always be in the novice tech portion, of voice portion of 10 meters. 7:30 Central Standard Time. This is KB5 MIQ Big Boy, 7-3.